All right, let's get in the trenches. We're going to go to global markets. Evan, let's look at some ETFs to get a read on how you can trade the global craziness. Can I use that word?
Yeah, well, we talked earlier about the world being globally interconnected, markets being interconnected. I think it's important that we look at some ETFs that do model some of these world markets.
Right.
And we're going to start with Germany here, the EWG. And this is one that I think is really interesting. It broke this uptrend line. Germany, to me, was really a market that had good relative strength. Up until just a couple weeks ago, this is right at highs. And then, unfortunately, through August, it saw that heavy volume sell-off. So it looks like they're getting to everything, even the stronger ones like Germany. And now it's, again, back at lows here and looks to me like it wants lower. So Germany, probably one of these ETFs you might want to stay away from.
But do you think that at some point that this particular ETF is just overdone? Because Germany is arguably the strongest country in the Eurozone. They're not going to, well, they had very, very slow growth in the last quarter, but they're not at negative growth. And they're working on it. I mean, we saw elections over the weekend that Angela Merkel might have a lot of problems in her next election. There could be changes there.
Yeah, well, if we look at the weekly, I think the weekly is more of a tell. I would like to see Germany hold this lower band of support down here. That's right around $18. So to me, if I'm a buyer of Germany, I'm probably going to step into this ETF around 18 bucks.
Okay, so let's go to Hong Kong. It's EWH, also a very strong market. What's that showing?
Well, let's look at the weekly here again from a macro perspective so we get a good look at this. Hong Kong, again, stronger. You can see a nice uptrend that was in place. But we broke, and it looks like, along with the rest of the world, we had a pretty nasty August. And it's setting up to me for a little bit of a lower price. I do want to see if Hong Kong or the EWH can hold this 14.5 area. That, to me, is where it looks like it's heading in the short term. I'd be a buyer down there.
Would you be shorting on the way down, or?
I would.
You would? Okay, possible short to Hong Kong. All right, let's go to India. It's INP. Let's see how that ETF is holding up. Interestingly, I read that the Central Bank of India might consider loosening the reserve requirements to kind of get a little bit more money out there, but inflation's at almost 10%. So it's a dicey situation.
Well, India, again, one of the stronger markets, global markets. But this, weekly chart to me, a little bit of a rounding pattern over here. It has to hold support. Support comes in, right around here. We saw it, hit support a couple days back. Let's look at it daily. Hit support around 55 and pop back up. I do want to see this 55 area hold. If not, we could see India, trade lower.
So again, possible short like you want to do with Hong Kong, or is it just too hard to say?
Possibly, but I think it's on support. So at this point, it's probably going to need a little more time.
Gotcha. Okay, I want to round out with Italy. It's EWI, kind of to compare it to Germany on how bad it looks.
Well, Italy is one of these markets that has not seen the relative strength that we see in India and some of the others in Germany. It's making new lows. It just took out prior support. A lot of news coming out of Italy politically. The market
Riots
just
today,
market just
budget
doesn't
issues,
seem, yeah,
austerity.
market doesn't like it, and it's evident here.